Good morning, good people. As you can see, GU is still in a serious downtrend. I opened my trade today at which would have been the low of yesterday because I base my trades off of yesterday's high and low. So this is was the daily high for yesterday. And then this line that you see here was the daily low. And so I base my trades off of this, knowing that we are in a downtrend. We are making a series of lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows. So I exited my trade a few minutes ago. Excuse me. I was going to let it see if it was going to come down here to the ADR low, but I did good on my pips today. So again, from this point to this point can take you in a serious withdrawal. So you want to make sure you are careful when you are entering your trades. I was asked about the RSI number 7, why I use the number 7 instead of 14, and this is a personal preference for everybody. I mean, you can look and see and set your RSI to number 7, number 5, and just line it up and see how it works for you and your trades. I'll use my crosshair here so that I can show you how I use mine and why I use the number 7. Okay, so let's just go for today. Okay, it always specifies that if it's close to 70 or whatever, the high has been reached or whatever. So you can look here where you see your high, but you see here it just went a little bit above yesterday's low, and then it tanked. And this is pretty much considered a pullback, and this is what I wait for, be it a serious pullback or just a ranging. If I know that it has currently been in a downtrend, I'm still expecting that downtrend to continue. So be the pullback be a pullback that you can see, literally just see, candles and then, down, or arranging. I am pretty much looking for these wicks, trying to see where price was rejected, and that helps me out a lot. So I exited my trade here, not only because I am near my demand
I
zone.
didn't understand that.
I wasn't talking to you, that's why. Because I'm near my demand zone, and like I said, I have reached a, a nice amount of pips for today. I could allow it, see if it's going to come down here to my ADR low, but I'm not going to. No, don't be greedy. Make sure you're not being greedy when it comes to trading. Take the amount of pips that you're comfortable with or you're satisfied with, or use your trailing stop and get your pips and move on. So I have the rest of the day to do whatever I please, because I'll be looking for London to re-enter. So again, talking about my my RSI in number 7. So as you can see here, it almost came up to the 70 point, which is 70 is right here. I put my own red mark, my red horizontal line here because it's the 50. And I know that when it's in between this 50, it's normally ranging. And now you can see that right here. See how the price is within these I am EMAs. So I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. I have so much going on right now. So let me just focus. But yes, price is within these EMAs, as I spoke about in so many other videos. And so you can see that down here that price is in between the videos. And as you can see right here with this crosshair, when I come here, if it will follow me, when I come here, look below. You see here look here. You see this? Okay, now look above. Sorry. Okay, you see where it tanked? So, and then you see where it tanked here. So this is why this is good for me, because this helps me with my pullbacks. And you may have seen some of my other screens. All of my screens are different. I have screens with naked trading on it, naked candles, just candles with no indicators at all. I have this one with the RSI. I've been doing this for quite some time, so there's a lot of different things that works for me. So yeah, so this is how I use my RSI and the number 7. I just pretty much 30 is considered that it has came down enough, more than enough, and that we are oversold, and this is where you would look to buy. You know, normally when it reaches here, I put this little blue horizontal because this is how far it has come down. As far as my RSI, it hasn't come down further than this. So it just gives me an eye, you know, to know that, hey, it can come down this far. It can come down a little further, but that's great for me because it puts me in position and I use it as a confluence with all of my other setups. So yeah, this is the 30-minute chart that I'm showing you this on. I'm going to get rid of this crosshair because it's annoying. So yeah, just take your time, use your daily high and your daily low. And if you do not have this indicator, you can always mark them off yourself. Just go up here to the top, grab this little slanted trend line right here, and come over to your yesterday's high, whatever the high was for yesterday. I want you to take it and drag it over, continue, because you want to cover for 2 days. So whatever yesterday's high was, you want to drag it all the way until today. And then whatever the high will be for today, say for example, if this is going to be the high, as you see, I already have this here just in case. If this is going to be the high for today, you see I drug it over until tomorrow. So yeah, you would put your high for yesterday, and then you would come up here, grab the slant again, and then you would mark off the low. And the reason I do this, and I'll move the other one just so that you won't be confused. I'll move this one because I can always put this back later. Okay, so this was yesterday's high and this was yesterday's low. I do not, since we are in a downtrend, I do not anticipate this coming up here. Okay, I did not anticipate that today because we're in a downtrend. But if it would have, then I would have just waited for it to come up here, come back down to touch this to prove to me that we are in an uptrend, and it would have continued up as I've shown you in other videos. So it would have did something like this. Okay, say it came down and then it came up, and then it would have did that. And you advanced traders already know this will be your pullback or your retest to prove to you that we are now in an uptrend. So you would have entered here, not exactly here, but maybe like right here after all of your confluences. This RSI would have helped you because it would have bottomed out here and it would have passed this little white line, which is line 30, and shown you that, hey, now we're going up. You know, as you can see, it has, every time it has come down to this 30 point, it has went up, went up, went up, up. So these are great advantages for you, because like if this is going to make a small W, or it may make a weird W and continue to the upside, that will be looking right here. This is this right here. So if it does that, then I would expect it to come here and then tank, not all the way up here. okay, because we're in a downtrend. So when you are in a downtrend, you're making higher highs and higher lows. You may do your ranging. You may get a false breakout to the high, but then continue low. Okay, you may get that, or you may get your higher highs and your higher lows and get a ranging like this, and then wick out right here and then go down. See how we are slightly above yesterday's low? Because they go to grab the stop losses. They know people have their stop losses here. I will put mine up. I get mine completely out the way. I am not going to play around with them trying to take my money. I need that money to be in there. So I need my stop losses to be way above where I know they are within reach. And so they normally come a little bit above um, yesterday's low, to grab the stop losses. And then they, of course, tank. So my goal, when I see this happening, this is great for me because I'm waiting for them to play this game. After I see they've played this game for several hours, as you can see, because this is a 30 minutes chart. After I see they've played their game for several hours and I get this last wick, and then you see what happens next. You got a couple of smaller candles here, right? Which means, when you see the wick at the top, that means that price has been pushed down, right? Meaning we're not going further than this. There's no more buyers right here. No one else is buying here. So, or they're done with their stop hunts. So we can get in right here to go down with them. And so, yeah, so when I got down to the bottom and I seen the foolishness starting to take place, I quickly took my profit out. At the same time, I always have my trailing stop following my money, my pips. I set it to probably 250, 250 to 300 pips, which means 250, which means every 25 pips, or 300, I will set my trailing stop to, which means it will trail every 30 pips. And that way, if my trailing stop was here, then, and my price got here, I'm out right here. And then so, the trailing stop just completely is over anyway, because you have already taken your profit and you don't need the trailing anymore. So yeah, that's it. I just was going to make a quick video to show why I use the RSI, or how I use my RSI, and why do I use the number 7. It's just it's an individual thing. You can use whatever number you want. I know that it comes with the original 14. I don't like the 14. It gives me false moves, so I like my number 7, and I like my number 7 also on higher time frames. It just gives a little bit more clarity to me, like going to the 1 hour. Let me scoot it over. You see how it's above the 50. You see how it's above the EMIs. Okay, see how it's above, but see how it's in between right here, and then you see how it's in between right here. I mean EMAs, I said EMIs. And then, yeah, and then you see here, you have this weird looking M. You spot this little M right here. And then, so some people call it a double top. That's fine. I call it M's. I call them double tops or whatever. But as you can see, it came up just a little bit. Why? Just to grab people's stops, right? Look up here. You see the daily high? So you see it came up just to grab the stop losses, because they know people place their stop losses a little bit above here. So let me just give you an idea of how many pips that could be. And they all differ, so don't just bank on this. Nah. It says 15 pips, but sometimes it can be, they can go. If they see a lot of them sitting up here, they may try to reach. So if you can afford to, put it up out of reach when you are trending and they're just gonna play around, then, by all means do that. Just stay out of reach of them. And then when you sense that they're done and you get a lot of wicks, which means there's nothing else up here and they're not allowing price to go further than this, you get in right alongside of them. Okay. And of course, you have your other confluences to help you out. Your crossover, you got your red crossover here, your red number 21. Of course, I always talk about it over your number 8. And then you get in and you tank and you ride it out. And then you see we've reached, I always mark everything. It's good to mark things so that you can be aware of where you are. But you can also pay attention to what's going on down here. If it's going to dance around and go sideways for a little bit, and it has already, went a little bit past 30, so you can anticipate it rising up. And of course, that's what it did. It rose up, and then it gives you an idea of where you can re-enter, because you shouldn't be going past your red EMA unless it comes up just for a little bit to play around like it does, but yeah, you can get ready, wait for your wicks and your other patterns you have on engulfing and all of that good stuff, and then you can re-enter and just ride it out. And you're in a zone, so you're a demand zone, and you see where you are here at the bottom. So yeah, get your profit, take your profit. Don't be afraid to take your profit. Do not try to get all the money, because you're going to mess yourself up. If you've made money this morning or for the day is early. What time is it? It's 9:40 in the morning. I'm done. Okay, I have the rest of the day to go and do whatever I want to do. Okay, get your pips. If you didn't get them in London, you could have gotten them this morning, because you see here in London, you tanked. You had your pullbacks. In New York, we had news. Of course, you always want to go to Forex Factory and find out if we have news. You want to check the calendar on forexfactory.com. Look for the red envelopes and look for the day that we may have news, and mark it down in your journal so that you'll be aware that, hey, there's news today, so I want to wait until news is over, because news can spike candles up or down or both. It will spike them up and down. So I waited until news was over and I entered here and I rode it all the way down and I exited. I had my trailing stop on just in case, and so yeah, I exited because I'm done. I'm done. I did what I needed to do for today. So that's it. I didn't want this to be too long, but I'm long-winded sometimes. You all have a blessed day. And if you have any other questions, just send them to the email. Thank you.